Let's see. Oh. I'm gonna throw my phone on the ground. Alright, you can hear that rockin' music. This game has a soundtrack. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a soundtrack. You can hear me. Alright, so this game, real talk, I've been following it a few years. Yes, we did both throw our phones on the ground. I thought that was you walking into the bathroom. Oh. Alright. I've been following this game a few years. I know the voice actor of Mishka. This hot little boyo right here. You're gonna have to live with the mouse. I know some people don't like it. Well, then get the fuck over it. You can hear me. You can hear the music. I'm assuming all good. I'm just gonna lower the music just a little bit more. Yes, the voice actor for Mishka is a good friend. So we're gonna start a new game. And if I get far enough into this where I'm like, ooh, this is saucy and fun, then we're gonna keep playing. The only reason I don't want to do that because this is why. It's a content warning. It's a big boy adult game. It's got violence, murder, blood, drug use, toxic, abusive relationships, and explicit sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. You turn off explicit sexual scenes. I have to for Twitch. I want to see the explicit scenes, though. I got a little bit of a taste of them earlier. But, there's like one save file, which is fine. It's a play novel. It's better to have one play file, if you want my opinion. But that means I won't be able to see any of that delicious sauciness until I'm through with this one. But it's fine. It's whatever. Thrill switch.
So, why would a person take someone's life?
Who knows? Maybe people make a living off that sort of thing. Why? What's eating you?
Nothing really. Just a passing thought. Speaking of, I'm hungry. Let's go get something.
Maybe later tonight. I've got somewhere I've got to be.
Like, the world vibe, I guess, is like, from what I've gotten, is
I've got somewhere I've got to be.
Oh. Hi. Got somewhere I gotta be, and that was Mishka's dialogue. It's like a queer Hotline Miami, but like before Hotline Miami 2 kind of ruined the story. Yes, this is the visual novel I had a friend is voice acting a character in, and I've been excited for it for years, and it came out today, so I'm playing it. It's a Nightshade. You Are the Drug, which, because it's less than 24 hours old it's not on the thing that fucking Twitch uses. High above the restless heartbeat of the city, a hooded figure crouched near the edge of the towering skyscraper. Strands of bright pink hair were jostled about as a gust of wind blew through them. His steely gaze scanned the flow of traffic and the bustling crowd below. It's as if we were waiting, watching, searching for something. Or someone. Yes, there are romances. I had to turn off the show me dingle because there's a lot of sex scenes. Suddenly, a sharp buzzing cut through the night. At the very least, the gallery had at least like 18-ish pictures. But I'm doing the safe version where it fades to black. The masked figure reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone, glanced at his bright screen. 2 words shining back at him. Target located. Suspect was seen fleeing from Strexa facility 0915. Wordlessly, the man slid the phone back into his pocket. He turned and swiftly disappeared in the fire escape. Quiet and precise. I'm just gonna keep throwing my phone around. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do today. The sound of labor. Okay, when I made a joke voice on this guy earlier, and I couldn't help myself. Like, I predicted the voice when I was doing the test run earlier, and it tickled me. The sound of labored breathing echoed through the alleyway as a frightened man staggered to his feet near a dumpster, clutching a purple box close to his body. Shadows are cast along brick walls adorned in ripped posters and haphazard graffiti. One shadow stalked the other from the cover of darkness, silently approaching. Paranoia was settling in like the slow push of a syringe. What was that? The man gripped at his chest in fear, his voice cracking in pain. Beads of sweat trickled down his furrowed brow. His wide-eyed gaze darted wildly around the alleys as he tried to cover the box with his coat. He was being hunted. No, wait, just take it back.
What? No.
Can't believe he got undertailed. The small purple box fell to the ground, knocked slightly ajar by the impact. The killer picked it up, ignoring the body next to it, and was gone soon after. Across the city. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed, filling the silence between the cashier and the young man at the counter, which, from what I've seen, Sasha is the cutest to me, the one we play as. He was taking an obnoxiously long time to order his food. Something about the lazily swept floor and the water-stained ceiling tiles seemed to suggest that this was the place for peak junk food. It was without a doubt Sasha's favorite burger joint in the entire city. If this was how he died, greasy burger in hand, then he was happy to go. The cashier cleared her throat impatiently. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Sasha tapped his finger on the countertop and began his order. I'll have a imposter burger, big old beef, or an onion death. Well, we're gonna go with the onion death. It's the best choice. I'll have the onion death. No lettuce. Okay, that'll be $4.60. Sasha pulled out his C card and tapped it against the register. Okay. Yeah, cool. See you later. Later, Sasha. You're my favorite customer. Bye, doggy. The cashier set the to-go bag beside the register and shot him a quick finger gun goodbye. Sasha swiped the goods off the counter and left the hole in the wall, impatiently digging into the paper bag to retrieve and unwrap his burger. Not wasting a second, he shoved the burger into his mouth, chewing delightedly.
Nice.
Oh man, this is the best. Night had settled over the city and painted the buildings in hues of purple and blue. A string of streetlights led a path down the empty side of the road, guiding pedestrians home from their busy day. Sasha, with his burger in hand, passed by a collection of vending machines near an alley intersection. His free hand dug into his pocket and pulled out his C-card, pressing it to the vending machine scanner. Oh, no, this is super gay. Like, super queer. Yes. Look at this boy and tell me this is not LGBTQ friendly. The machine flashed a lack of funds error code. Sasha groaned. His balance was clearly drained. He had no cash on him, and the lint was not a good currency. Oh, man. With a defeated sigh, Sasha continued on. It wasn't often that he walked this way when he headed home. The graffiti walls and familiar mishmash of building styles were always a welcoming sight, though. Sasha glanced over at a small playground near the side street he was on, noticing the rusty equipment and how very neglected it all seemed. He grinned. I think the little cat grin, might have been the thing that sold me on him. He's got a little 3 grin, it's cute. I haven't come this way in forever. I used to hang out here all the time. Nostalgia nudged at him as he drew closer to the playground, taking in the familiar sight curiously. I played at this park every day after school. Not that there really is much to play with. The playground looks exactly the same as it always has. Just a big empty dirt lot. Well, and the swings. Oh, and one busted slide. And the monkey bars I fell off once. Sasha walked over to the empty swings and slowly sat down, unwrapping the rest of his burger. He took another bite and looked around at the desolate playscape. His free hand grabbed onto the rusted chain and held him up while he swung back and forth a bit. Honestly though, this place kinda sucks. I'm surprised it wasn't bulldozed for apartments or something. Kids didn't really play here back then, and they still don't. I mean, look at this place. He laughed to himself quietly, taking another bite of the burger. He was far too hungry to wait until he got all the way home to finish eating. It's pretty much just a place for teens to smoke and skip class. I mean, even I did it. Back then, there weren't a lot of kids to hang with, really. I guess Mishka was there after a while, but he doesn't count. But it's whatever, it beats sitting in an empty apartment every night. Sasha dug the tip of his shoe into the mulch beneath him, lost in thought, momentarily forgetting the world around him while his memories played out in his mind. I usually stayed out pretty late, but when the sun disappeared behind the Soviet-style low-cost concrete apartment building developed in the 1960s near the school, I'd head home. Thank you for the vocab word. Walking home was fine since we didn't live very far. Plus there was this little corner store right by our apartment that I always stopped in. The place had everything, like I could grab dinner for me and Mom when she worked late. I also picked her up some of those apple pierogies she loved so much. I swear sugar runs through her veins. Probably where I get it from. She still can't stay mad at me if I give her one of those. He grinned fondly at the thought. Man, time really flies. Ah.
Huh?
Sasha, startled by the sound of his phone buzzing away in his pocket, reached into his jacket and pulled out the device. The cell phone's behind me. I clicked that. Hey man, Alexi gave me this number and said if I want anything to meet up with you. Is that good? My place or yours, lol?
Oh, fuck.
Who is this? I only meet up in public. When do you want it? Taryn. And how's tomorrow at Jukebox? Okay, I'll meet you at the bar tomorrow afternoon. He shoved his phone back into his pocket, his brow furrowed in irritation. Just give my number to anyone, that's fine. Totally not creepy at all. The earlier feeling of fondness had melted into agitation. Sasha crumpled the burger wrapper into a small ball and tossed it into a nearby recycling can as he stood from the swing. Getting really late now. I should probably head out. He glanced over his shoulder at the empty alley behind him. A small chill prickling at the back of his neck. Yeah, it was time to go. The streetlights began to spread out the further he walked, becoming less and less frequent along the way. I put the link in the Discord, in the gaming page. I think it's 30. The darker the paths became, the more Sasha found himself glancing over his shoulder, his hands shoved into his pockets. His pace quickened, not even bothered to stop when he passed the corner store despite the aroma of apple pierogies, which are delicious. Yeah, Russian-Ukrainian stuffed bun! Neon signs flickered irregularly in the darkened shop windows that lined the street. The occasional pedestrian became few and far between. Sasha looked up and saw he was approaching his apartment building, a newfound urgency ballooning in his chest. Keys! Where were his keys? Flies beat against the corridor light bulb behind him. Sasha stood in front of his apartment door, hands fumbling for the keys he knew had to be somewhere on him. Yeah, no, I've been using it to, if there's been a word that's been particularly Russian, I've been using it. But I know what pierogies are, I just didn't know what the apartment complex thing was. He sighed with relief when he found them and quickly shoved the small key into his deadbolt, turning it sharply. There was no click of the lock. Sasha's heart fell into his stomach. Did I leave this unlocked? I could have swore I unlocked it. I locked it. His heart raced in his chest. As quiet and as careful as he could, Sasha turned the handle and pushed. The door eased open a crack and slowly widened enough for him to slide through. His eyes were wide in the darkness of the small studio apartment, trying to adjust as best as they could. He cautiously reached over and set the keys onto the TV standing next to him. We're gonna stop a second, because I'm gonna point out in this clipboard, this like bulletin board, this cork board, they got the fucking crying cat meme, and it's distracting me like nobody's business. There's all this tension, but then there's that stupid crying cat face. Plus, we're about to see the voice actor I know. Something had been knocked over. Something close. He turned his head in the direction of the noise, now noticing the light that shone through the crack of the bathroom door. A spike of panic sent a burning, rigid sensation along his arms and gripped his chest tightly. Weapon. He needed a weapon. As silently as he could, Sasha reached into the drawer near the TV stand and pulled out a knife. It was impossible to calm the heartbeat. He could feel pulsing in his throat. He took a few steps forward, holding the knife close. He advanced slowly towards the bathroom door, his heart pounding. Every hair on the back of his neck stood on end, and his hand clenched in a white-knuckle grip around his weapon. Sasha lifted his other hand and grasped the door handle. He tried to slow his breathing with one long, shaky exhale. Suddenly, he yanked the door open with all his might and lunged into the bathroom, knife raised.
Did you really think you'd win in a knife fight against me? Sasha.
Sasha found himself caught in a firm grip, his knife hand immobilized, panting. He looked up at the man's face, and recognition finally filtered through his adrenaline. Instantly, irritation replaced his earlier sense of dread.
Mishka! What the hell?
Did I scare you?
Mishka laughed, his fingers uncoiling from around his friend's wrist. He stepped away and leaned casually against the doorway, his arms crossed.
Are you kidding me?
You could have sent me a text like a normal person. Instead, you break in? Well, if I had a key, I wouldn't have had to break in. Mishka waved his hand dismissively. No, that's not how this works. How many... Sasha sighed harshly and pinched the bridge of his nose. How many times have I said? So you never answered. Were you scared? Mishka smirked and pushed off the doorway, heading towards the nearby couch. I'm pissed off! Sasha swatted the air near his friend as he passed by, though clearly this didn't faze him. He sighed and followed Mishka into the living room. Knife still in his hand, he opened the drawer beneath the TV and set the weapon back inside. He then swiped at the light switch near the front door. Light flooded into the rest of the apartment. You're still not getting a key. In fact, you're further from a key than you've ever been. Sasha shook his head slowly in disbelief, but couldn't help a small grin. Oh, come on. You're not totally thrilled by my lockpicking skills. One leg lifted across the other, while Mishka settled back into his couch cushions. Yes! Haha! The secret meow has been unlocked. No. Sasha chuckled mildly before he popped down beside Mishka. Alright. Then what would it take to get a key, He leaned toward Sasha, loosely setting his arm on the back of the couch. I think, as your best friend, I'm long overdue for one. I think you're full of shit. Sasha's annoyed tone was betrayed by the small smile he wore. And there's nothing you can do to get a key. Sorry. Except for maybe cry about it. He leaned away from Mishka, reclining against the opposite end of the sofa. He made sure to push his legs into the space between them before curling up. Okay, well, now that I'm here, not going anywhere, what do you want to do? Breaking into my apartment is a weird way to ask if you can hang out. Okay, I get it. Ask before breaking in. Are you hungry? Not waiting for an answer, Mishka pulled out his phone and started looking for delivery options. I actually already ate, so I'm good. Who are you and what have you done with my Sasha? A muffled ringing was heard behind Sasha, or maybe it was beneath him? Sasha shifted around as he played a game of hot and cold to find his phone. Wow, I didn't realize it was already this late. Hey, Mom. Hi, honey, are you busy? This game's too serious for me to do any of my silly girl voices. I'm always busy. You know, adult work meetings and doing stocks for adults. Why, what's up? My little businessman. That's so cute. Oh, I'm at the market. Well, I'm on the train to the market. It's a little loud. There's a guy here playing the guitar. Can you hear it? Hang on, do you hear it? Did she just try to... Yep, Mom, I can hear it. It's a bit late for grocery shopping. Using the armrest as leverage, Mishka pushed himself towards the phone and practically grinning to the receiver. Hey, Ma. Well, I get it. Mimi, is that you? Hello, dear. What are you up to? Shopping at the tower? Mishka draped himself lazily over Sasha in an effort to get closer to the phone. I forgot to go out this morning. All these coupons expire tonight, so I gotta use them now. Oh, Mimi, your C-card. Did you get that updated yet? Monkey, you came in to see me play a play novel that I've been waiting years for. And that's saying something, because most of the time with play novels, I'm like, fuck this. But this one, it's got that aesthetic. Also, nepotism. Yeah, Ma, I get it. I got it. Should be taken care of. Okay, good. Just make sure, since the deadline's coming up. Oh, thank you. Okay, dears, I can't shop and talk at the same time. I'll drop my phone, and you know, these things are expensive. Do you know how much I paid to repair this thing the last time?
See ya.
Okay, bye, Mom. Bye. Okay, love you. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. The phone went quiet. She likes me more. Mishka was still draped over Sasha like a tired koala, clearly not intending to move. Yeah, because you can reach the top cabinet for her. That's probably true. He laughed softly, a gentle smile spreading across his face. You're incredibly lucky, you know that? For getting calls from the grocery store? Sasha's gaze stayed on his phone as he began to aimlessly scroll through his messages, despite no one having texting him. No, I'm serious. She's an amazing mom, and you're really lucky to have that. Mishka's gaze settled on his friend as he rolled himself off Sasha and back into his reclined state against the couch cushions. Sure, yeah. Sasha continued to look at his phone as he spoke.
So...
Did you come over here for a reason, or...?
Well...
Yeah, to hang out with you, dummy. Reaching forward, Mishka began to take his shoes off, unstrapping the Velcro around his ankles. Well, I have a drop across town tomorrow, so whatever we do, I can't be up all night. So what are we doing then? Watch TV, just go to bed, play video games. Oh, I know. You'll never guess what I found while I was cleaning yesterday. I can't believe I forgot what was in my closet. Mishka huffed in amusement as he watched his friend roll off the couch and crawl towards an old box sat on the floor next to the television.
Meh.
You cleaning? Doubt. Do you remember this thing? Everyone had one. Sasha moved out of the way to show Mishka his old video game console. There was a smooth layer of dust coating the system, save for a few finger smudges. Are you serious? Mishka's brows lifted in amazement. It was hard to believe that Sasha still had the dusty old console. Will it even turn on? Sure? Sasha took a deep breath and blew the dust off the old plastic, coughing when he accidentally inhaled some. I guess I just need a little blowjob. Me too, honestly. Oh my god, that's enough. Sasha tried to laugh again, but all he could do was choke. Mishka's lips stretched into a smirk while Sasha suffered on the floor. But he was soon distracted when he spotted something a bit more interesting.
Wait.
Is that what I think it is? Mishka sat up straight and nodded towards a small case near the console. What? Sasha's voice sounded suspiciously clear of dust now that he was done milking it. Oh, yeah! Sasha lifted a slightly less dusty case, holding it up to the light like a trophy. Is that Dragon Lad? It's fucking Dragon Lad! Mishka hunched forward to get a closer look. Wow, I can't believe I forgot about that game. How long has it been? Sasha shrugged and flipped the box over, squinting at the back cover. The poor graphic design made the text a bit hard to read. It was back when I lived at my mom's place. That had to be at least 8 years ago. Probably even longer than that. Oh my god. Do you remember that Peanut Kid? Peanut Kid? Oh my god, yeah! Sasha snickered at the long-forgotten memory. He'd come over all the time after school with us. What was his name? I don't even remember. Wasn't it like Stan, Steven, something like that? I don't remember either. I just remember all the peanut shells. Oh my god, the peanuts! He was obsessed with peanuts, I remember! His mom packed him a little baggie all the time, but they still had the shells on them. Who eats shelled peanuts? Mishka shook his head with a laugh before running a hand through his hair, teeth flashing a smile. I mean, I used to suck the salt off the outside and throw them back into the bag. Gross, right? You're a fucking menace. The crack when you open a shell peanut is kind of satisfying, though. Sasha tilted his head back with a smile. Oh man, but Mom would get so pissed when she came home. All those peanut shells on the living room floor. I wonder what she's doing these days. Haven't seen or heard of him since then, really. Probably eating peanuts somewhere. But seriously, he was kind of weird. My weird or weird? Your weird is your own brand. This kid was weird and he wasn't very good at Dragon Lad. The UI for big pics or click anywhere. I can hit that button, which is painful. Your weird is your own brand. Oh, whoa. Okay. The weird is your own brand. The kid was weird and he wasn't very good at Dragon Lad. Wait, you want me to do that? And click anywhere to bring it back. Okay, so... But the point is the text I'm reading. Not very good at the visual novels.
Well,
let's see if we still are. Are you going to put it in? Mishka motioned the game case in Sasha's hand. That's what she said. Sasha pressed his fingers into the case's tightly sealed edge until it popped open so hard the disc flew out. Don't break it before we get to play it. That thing's practically an antique. Sasha chuckled.
Okay.
I'm trying, okay? He plugged the system in and pressed the power button. After a small delay, the power blinked on.
Nice.
We have a pulse. It's a gamer miracle. Which is so far been my favorite line. As far as I made it, it's a gamer miracle is the one I'm like, I want a t-shirt that says that. You'll probably need the cord. There's no way these controllers are still charged. Sasha grinned as he stood up and returned to the couch with an old controller in hand. When do I get to play? When you decide to stop breaking into my apartment. That was like an hour ago. You gotta put the past behind you. Before Sasha could even humor that comment, the familiar sounds of the old gaming system filled the room. A second later, music blared loudly from the TV speaker, sending him diving for the remote to lower the volume. Why'd you turn it down? Don't want the district to know you're old? Dragon Lad isn't that old. The year the system published popped up on the screen. Okay, it's kind of old. The moment the menu screen music began playing, it was like being slingshotted back into their childhood. The feeling of his mom's rug, his processed snack at the ready, and the sheer excitement to be home from school and free to waste away the evening. Without missing a beat, both of them started to sing along with the catchy theme song. Mishka burst out laughing. Are you seeing these graphics? The graphics weren't bad for their time, but the game looked like a potato compared to the virtual reality games on the market nowadays. I love it. We have to start a new game. There's no other way. As the opening scene played, the two of them quoted along almost perfectly. Man, I remember us restarting this game constantly just to watch the scene again. Looking up online wasn't the same. We had to watch it in the game. Oh shit, it's starting. The combat tutorial was at full swing, and Sasha had barely managed to dodge an enemy attack. You have to hit both buttons. Mishka leaned over, pointing at the corner of the screen where delightful tips kept popping up. I know. Sasha fumbled with the controllers and managed to pull off the attack, but was soon struggled once again. Come on, haven't even gotten the actual level yet. That's because you're rushing and not reading. It's literally telling you what to do. Mishka laughed in amazement at how bad his friend was at this. And they'd only just started! Wop wop. Stop backseat gaming. This is harder than it looks. Old games are so hard. Sasha wasn't upset though. It was too funny. Now imagine how much harder it would be if you were high. I mean, that's not an impossible theory to test. Sasha shot Mishka with a knowing side eye. But if you do, use the Red Bull, because the blue one's cracked.
Well...
I was just joking, but we're on board so fast. Mishka snorted as he stood up from the small sofa and headed to the kitchen where he knew Sasha kept his stash. Wasn't this jar full the last time I was here? How did you smoke that much? Gloved hands uncapped the jar and began loading up the Red Bull sitting on the counter. I have anxiety, no thanks to you. Green eyes were fixed intently on the screen. Ah, damn it, this jump is hard. Mishka shuffled back to where his friend sat round the couch, clearly struggling. Here. Sasha glanced at Mishka's offered hand and saw that the glass bowl was loaded. Light it for me. Just pause the game. You can't multitask. Watch me. Mishka sighed, shaking his head slightly before lifting the bowl to Sasha's face, lighting its contents with his free hand. How is the view? Mishka smirked at him as Sasha took a hit, both in and out of the game. It only took all of 10 seconds for the intense scent to fill the small studio apartment. After holding it in for as long as he could, Sasha finally exhaled. The view sucked. You were blocking half of my face. Maybe you should just admit you suck at this game. Mishka laughed before bringing Sasha's bowl to his own lips. He plopped back down onto the couch. I almost want to let you try to see how hard it is so I can laugh at you instead. No, man. Weed makes me focused. I'll school you. With a deep inhale, Mishka passed the bowl back to his friend. His eyes squinted a little through the smoke that seeped from his mouth. Sasha traded with Mishka, offering him the controller. It seemed much smaller in his hands than Sasha remembered. Without missing a beat, Mishka took the controller and began pressing as many buttons as he could. A few seconds later, a brief "You died" message briefly flashed onto the screen. That doesn't count. You were mid-jump when you handed it to me. I'm not feeling very schooled right now. Sasha took another hit after shooting down Mishka's excuse. All right. Started back at the checkpoint. So now it's fair. Watch. But as hard as he tried to focus on the screen in front of him, Mishka still struggled to jump over a large cliff. He frowned in irritation. How the fuck do you glide again? Sasha was just shaking slightly at this point, face turned away from his friend as he tried to hold it in. Tell me. Despite his tone, Mishka grinned and couldn't contain the laughter that bubbled out of him. Why is this so hard? It's a game for children. Sounds like you need baby hands. Baby hands? What does that even mean? Yeah, these buttons were made for baby thumbs. Sasha could barely finish his sentence without wheezing. Okay, so what if I did this? Mishka set the controller on his knee and promptly switched to using just his index finger on the button pad. The controller shifted on his leg, threatening to fall at any second. If you break it, you have to buy me a new one. A new one? I'd probably have to go on a national treasure hunt to find one. Yeah, I wonder how much they're worth now. Probably nothing. These games were already ported and they bricked this console. Seemingly getting the hang of things, Mishka began progressing quickly through the level, selecting items and blowing fire at enemies. Hey, got any snacks? I'm starving. I don't know, you'll have to check. While playing Dragon Lad, master level multitasking. Sasha chuckled, feeling lightheaded from the smoke. His earlier stress had almost completely drifted away. You're the master multitasker. Get me a snack. Didn't you say I was horrible at multitasking? Retort aside, Sasha still eased painstakingly off the sofa. Gravity strong. Might not make it to the kitchen. Oh yeah, I heard they turned up the gravity to... Ah, crap! Mishka's focus turned entirely to the screen in front of him. He leaned forward off the edge of the couch and squinted at the enemies he was rushing to defeat. Oh my god, why are there so many of them? Is that the sound of you being really bad at this game? Sasha, now in the kitchen, attempted to open the fridge. He laughed at himself as he kept failing to grab the handle. Fridge said no snacks. Sorry. Well, tell the fridge I said yes snacks and hurry back. They're going to kill me. Mishka laughed as even more enemies swarmed in and began overwhelming his small dragon avatar. What do you want me to do? Throw snacks at them? Just throw snacks at the screen? Yes, just throw a handful of peanuts at them. Mishka snickered at himself at the thought. But no, seriously, come help me. Become the Dragon Lad yourself. He laughed again and quickly double jumped, gliding above the enemies. He didn't want to fight yet. Sasha rolled his eyes and shook his head, amused. He finally managed to open the fridge and began to search its contents with lidded eyes, hoping to find something appetizing. No dice. Well, chips it is then. He shut the door and grabbed a half-empty bottle of flavored tortilla chips off the counter.
Hey.
Are you back yet? Did you just ask if I was back yet? I'm like within 2 meters at all times. This room isn't even that big. Sasha made his way back to the sofa, making sure to plop down hard enough to mess Mishka up. What? Hey! Irritated by his friend's attempt at sabotage, Mishka swiped the bag of chips out of Sasha's hand and replaced it with the controller. Your problem now. Fight them, Dragon Lad. No. The moment Sasha had the controller, his little avatar was surrounded by enemies. I can't kill them all with these shitty moves. Where's all the upgrades? Mishka chuckled quietly. He chuckled quietly. His body slumped loosely against the armrest. Drowsiness had started to set in, and he could feel his eyelids growing heavy.
Well...
You could always use cheat codes. He stretched out and wiggled his legs underneath Sasha, trying to get more comfortable on the small couch. Cheating is for cheaters. As he spoke, Sasha pulled out his phone to search for Dragon Lad cheat codes. These are all so long. There's no way I'm going to remember one long enough to unlock it. Up, left, down, right, circle, circle, something about a cootie shot. His tone is gradually getting lower. Or whatever. A small chuckle came from the armrest. Useless. Sasha checked the time on his phone. Is it seriously that late? He locked the device before staring blankly at the retry screen on the TV. Maybe we could just figure it out tomorrow. My brain is too smooth for this right now. I like your smooth brain. Good, because that's all you're getting. Sasha tiredly reached for a chip and gave it a weak nibble. Fair enough. Very slowly, Mishka rolled to the edge of the couch and onto the floor. From there, he began crawling tediously towards Sasha's bed. I really hope that's what you look like sneaking down the hallway to pick the lock on my door. Sasha stretched his leg out as far as he could toward the machine, hoping he could hit the power button with his toe. No, I can't reach the power button. Come back. Get longer legs. Mishka pulled himself onto the bed and disappeared under the loose covers, shimmying up against the wall. Okay, give me a minute. I'll reach it any second now. He was straining so hard that his words were barely coherent. Slowly, he slid off the couch onto the hard floor.
Nice.
Ha! Made it! Not caring about their save file, he held the power button down with his toe until the screen went black. Okay. Finally, Sasha found the will to stand. He looked at the chips but decided to leave them on the couch. I'll probably need them again anyway. No point in going through the hassle of putting them away and pulling them back out again. Sasha yawned, grateful that his bed was only a few steps away from the sofa. After a small detour for the light switch, he stumbled his way into the bed by the light and shone through his balcony slider. The sudden weight of another body sinking into the mattress jostled Mishka and turned around, shuffling until he was facing Sasha. Hey. Come here. His voice was hushed. Sasha scooted closer to his friend beneath the blankets. How can you stand wearing jeans to bed? Are you telling me to take them off? Sasha's laugh was muffled. I'm telling you that you're weird. More weird with pants than without, got it. After a couple of seconds, and a few seconds of rustling beneath the covers, Mishka threw his pants across the small room. Ta-da, praise me. That was ridiculous, but also very impressive. That's me to a T. Mishka slid an arm across Sasha's middle and pulled him close, feeling warm and content. Mishka's arm was a warm band across his stomach, and Sasha shifted slightly under the weight, getting comfortable. But for real, tight clothing is a hassle and I'll die on that hill. Might just boycott it. No skinny jeans in my apartment. My jeans aren't skinny jeans. Are they still banned? Mm-hmm. When Sasha closed his eyes, he felt the room starting to spin. And while that would normally make him panic, right now it was just relaxing. His body felt almost weightless, held down only by his friend's arm. It felt safe. Noticing the lack of sarcastic commentary, Mishka lifted his head from the pillow and looked over at his friend. When he realized Sasha had fallen asleep, his gaze softened. How is he able to fall asleep so fast baffles me. Leaning in, Mishka rested his head upon Sasha's on the pillow. He curled his body closer, entangling the two of them into a comfortable, familiar pose. Only a few minutes later, sleep claimed Mishka too. The soft crackle of wood burning into ash and ember filled the otherwise silent space of the dark lounge. A slender man approached his superior, who was seated in a sleek armchair with an almost bored expression as he looked down at his phone. Sir. Upon hearing the voice, the man lifted his dark-eyed gaze from his phone and stared at the dark-eyed gaze are all over this game, if you know what I'm saying. Sorry, best joke I'm gonna make tonight. And stared at the agents standing before him. The dealer we sent out to retrieve the package never made it back. A thin smile spread across the man's lips. Of course. I knew Strexa's little rat would get in the way. Because of the tightened security around the shop, only verified dealers have been able to get through. Fine. We'll use the mole then. Have him get the sample and send it to the warehouse. Do it before Pavel catches wind.
I understand.
I'll be sure to stress the urgency to the others then. No. I have something more important for you to do, Ada. As the man spoke, he lifted a thin tablet from the side table nearby. The screen illuminated his face and filled one stark eyes with a pale blue light. Ada's gaze, previously fixated near the other man's feet, lifted to regard his superior. A jolt of heat ran through him when their eyes met for a split second. I want you to keep an eye on Dima's pet. We can't risk losing time if he wanders too close. And if he does? I'm sorry, wrong voice. And if he does? Ada's voice was quieter now. He took a few steps closer, now within arm's reach of his superior. The man gently took Ada's hands in his, met no resistance. Ada's fingers were relaxed and compliant. Without warning, the man forcibly pulled Ada into his lap.
Then we chain him down.
His words were so close, his warm breath brushed softly against Ada's neck. Anything for you. So this is as far as I made it! Whenever I was playing earlier, I made it to that part, and I was like, time for me to stop. The game works, and it doesn't, dicks aren't flopping out in the first 5 minutes, even in the not safe for work version. So I was like, I'll save the rest now. So everything else is going to be blind for me. The long, eerie hallway that housed Sasha's front door did well to hide just what time of day it was. Though it looked the same as the previous night, it was now late afternoon when the two finally emerged from the small studio apartment. They managed to sleep most of the day away, no thanks to the lack of natural daylight in the apartment. Sasha shut and locked his... Oh, pardon me, just got sick. Sasha shut and locked his front door behind him, glaring at Mishka as he jiggled the handle to double-check its security. Mishka couldn't help but laugh. Listen, at least I didn't break the lock. It's fine. Don't give me that look. Sasha rolled his eyes before pocketing his keys. After taking a few steps towards the stairs, Sasha's stomach rumbled loudly. Dude, I'm starving. Mishka quickly followed after his friend.
Well...
That's what we get for waking up this late. Maybe there's a hot dog place along the way? Funny how you just invite yourself to my drop. Hey, it's my day off. I've got nothing better to do. Do you ever? Mishka gasped dramatically, pretending to clutch at his pearls as they went down the stairwell and out onto the street.
Come on.
Still, I think we should stop for hot dogs. No complaints here. The sounds of buses stopping loudly to the curb, distant car horns, the wind tearing beneath tall buildings, they all washed over him. Sure, it was loud, but every sound reminded Sasha that he was never truly alone out here. It was all so familiar. So, where's the drop anyway? Sasha pulled his phone from his jacket pocket, quickly scrolling through his messages. He wants me to meet over at Jukebox, which is at least an hour with public transit. Sasha typed a quick on my way to Tehran, before pocketing his phone. Jukebox, that's a Strexa tower, yeah? The redhead is hot, though your friend has great taste. I don't think he got to choose who he voice acted. I think he just, did well in audition. And Mishka, okay, we'll have a real talk for a second about Mishka's look. He tucked in what is sort of a t-shirt, so that's a huge no-go for me. Like, that, and I don't know why uneven hair is a soft for me. It's like I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a neg, but I wouldn't say it's a positive. Like it's like a counter to a positive, I guess. Where like Sasha, look at this boy, tiny light-haired twink energy, which is my taste. Sasha's a bad boy too. He saw drug. I like tiny pastel twinks. I've been a parasite to a tiny pastel twink for almost 8 years now. A hint of unease had crept into Mishka's tone. Yeah, I'm almost never over that way. Feels too expensive. I walked around there once, to look at the shops, and I found some really nice shoes. I thought I'd have to take out a mortgage on those things. I put them down so fast. Feels like they'll charge you for breathing their air, huh? Guess I'll hold my breath. Don't die. Right, so the tower. I hope you don't plan on us walking. Yeah, that's a bit much for me. Moving from the couch to your kitchen is a bit much for you. Okay, smartass. Walking is out of the question. Let's take the bus to Strexa, take the train. Train. Let's just take the train. It's faster and cleaner than the bus line. I don't like the subway, you know that. Too bad, it's fast and the bus is smelly. You can deal with it, right? Sasha grinned at his friend in an attempt to persuade him, hands shoved into his pockets as they started down the side street. Come on, I'll make it up to you. I'll buy you some tacos. Well, you'll get us some tacos, huh? And pay for them and everything? An incredulous look was shared between them for a moment before they both started laughing. Hey, I won't stop you if you really want to spoil me. Sasha chuckled, shaking his head. Spoil you? I just want you to take the subway, my dude. Is it working? Are you convinced? Sasha gave the most pathetic attempt at a puppy dog look he could manage. Mishka smiled wryly in response and put a hand on his friend's shoulder, playfully shoving him away. Okay, if you stop doing that, whatever that is, then I'll go, damn. Cool, the Stoke Street entrance is right there, so it all works out. Yeah. I like how signs have like static in them, even if they're a physical sign in our world, like it's still a little digital. It's got digital static on it. It's that fucking aesthetic. That's the kind of aesthetic I fucking love. That's why I got the green digital grids on my coming on screen. That's why I've been doing the Windows 98 shit. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep I can't jerk off to the dicks, so I'm gonna jerk off to the aesthetic. Metaphorically, Twitch. I'm metaphorically jerking it. The two of them descended underground, their footsteps echoing down the concrete stairway. The hum of the city was soon replaced with the roar of the subway trains rushing by. I like cyberpunk, but more digital than cyberpunk. Less, more Tron, less, Road Warrior. Like, Digimon Tamers is a good example. The way they did the digital world in that Nightmarescape, specifically Tamers though, the first two series, they were good, but they didn't hit what I was looking for. It was less nightmarish. A man leaned quietly against the nearest wall, loitering next to the bright no littering sign. When he noticed Sasha and Mishka approaching, he pushed off the wall and headed over to them both. Oh, Sasha! I don't know this character, so I don't know the voice yet. The closer the stranger got, the more tense Mishka began to feel. His hand moved towards his pockets, fingers twitching instinctively.
Hey.
Do you know that guy? This guy, Sasha? Yeah, he's a regular of mine. Sasha's expression shifted into something a bit more welcoming as he greeted the familiar client. But Mishka's tension didn't subside. He kept a watchful eye out, the back of his neck prickled with unease. Hey, you're usually up by Flora. What are you doing out this way? Sasha's body stiffened as the man stepped closer. The man started to scratch the back of his head. I actually came out this way for something, but can't get back now. He didn't look like an important character, so I can give him a silly voice. Ugh. Can't get back? Sasha noted the glassiness of the buyer's eyes, though it was difficult to see since he wouldn't stop moving. Here we go. It's my C-card, He stopped to look behind him, despite no one being there. It expired, I don't have enough to renew it right now. Yikes. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. The man simply laughed again and shook his head. Oh no, it's fine. but because of all that, I'm, a little short on cash. So I was wondering if, The man continued to stumble over his words, but it wasn't hard to see where this was going. I can't front you. It's just half a gram. I'll have the money next week. I'll pay it back. Sasha did his best to cut him off. I can't do IOUs, man. I got bosses to feed.
Come on.
Sasha, let's go. Just this one time, man. Just one time. It's taking all my income just to get this card. I only need half a gram of that new stuff you got last week. The man became more agitated and ran a shaky hand through his hair. I'm so sorry, but I can't. Sasha shrugged as he repeated his refusal. Sasha, please, man! This withdrawal is ferocious. You gotta understand. The man attempted to smile, but it flickered and died, a frown swiftly taking its place. He was clearly growing more agitated by the moment. He glanced over his shoulder a second time. Are you fucking serious? He said no. Back off. Mishka, ease up. His brows furrowed at his friend's sudden intensity. Alright, damn. I don't want any trouble. The man backed up a bit, shaking his head in disappointment before he mumbled something incoherent. Before another word was said, an automatic voice over the loudspeaker chimed in. The train was arriving. Not wanting to escalate the situation further, Sasha bowed out and headed in the opposite direction. Mishka reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. He held out a piece of paper to the regular with a scowl, letting go once the other man grabbed it. Here, call this number. They'll help you get your card. And stop bothering people. Thanks, what a charmer. Mishka didn't hear this comment, having already turned to follow Sasha towards the turnstile, separated them from the rest of the subway. Sasha pulled his C-card from his pocket as they approached the turnstile. A green light appeared with a quick chime to signal Sasha's seamless entry. When Mishka offered up his card, however, the machine locked rigid. A small error code popped up on the screen. Mishka tried again. Error. Is someone out of funds? No, I literally just loaded this thing. No wonder the other guy got barred. Mishka scanned his C-card again with no success. He scoffed at the persistent error code. Whatever, this thing is biased. Not wanting to waste time buying a one-way ticket from the kiosk, Mishka simply vaulted over the barrier. Absolute anarchy. It's faster than the bus line, my ass. It is when your card works. My card does work, it's just this stupid fucking... Never mind. What platform? Mishka's scowl remained as they started down the flight of stairs towards the many platforms. A large digital map overhead displayed endless options of color-coded routes.
So...
We're headed north, so orange line. His response was quick and confident as he steered Mishka towards their platform. The train was already docked when they approached, but Sasha showed no urgency as he walked through the open sliding doors. Mishka, on the other hand, kept glancing over his shoulder as they went along, and even more so once they boarded. He guided them both as far from the other occupants as he could. Yeah, I took the subway. It made more sense than the bus. Bus is smelly. Motioned the spot on the corner of Sasha to sit. I hate this fucking train. One leg crossed the other as he leaned back, his arms wrapped around his middle. Hey, at least it's not too packed this late in the afternoon. I didn't feel like standing during a ride this long. Because no one likes the subway. Or they're suckers who don't get off work for another 2 hours. Mishka grew quiet and turned his attention towards the window, staring through the glass with his jaw clenched. Sasha pulled his phone out of his pocket and shifted around to get comfortable. Since no one else was near, he was able to switch his legs up onto the empty seats. Ah, damn it, we forgot the tacos. The opening of the song is giving me a panty and stocking end credit vibes. That, like, hitting two or three notes of a synth on heavy echo and then just letting it drift makes me think of that end credit song. The difference between this district and the one they had just left felt like night and day. The trees planted evenly along the road were well manicured. No trash could be found on the crackless sidewalks, and water features adorned walkways and expensive-looking skyscraper lobbies. Is it just me? Or is the air different here? Is it just me? Or do I really gotta take a shit? Careful, they'll charge us for talking too much. Grinning slightly, Mishka shoved his hand deep into his pockets and trailed after his friend. I'm always amazed to see how many people find time to shop in the middle of a workday. Not that I work a normal schedule. Strexa Tower was a tall enough building to spot almost anywhere in the city, so it felt a little intimidating standing under it now. The first floor was filled with various types of open-air shops that anyone could pass through. There was a hell of a lot of them.
Hey.
Sasha, look at this. Without much of a warning, Mishka veered off and crouched down beside a small metal box outside an expensive-looking boutique. I think it's an umbrella wrapping thing. He leaned over the box and looked down at the narrow hole at the top. I dare you to put your hand in there. And what, steal an umbrella bag? Still, he curiously walked over and looked down into it. Wish I had an umbrella on me so I could bag it. Maybe it's part of their marketing ploy. Get you to buy an umbrella just to try this thing. Rich people would absolutely buy an umbrella when it's 28 degrees and clear skies outside. Sasha checked his phone to reread the text he'd received the previous night. Why'd this guy want to meet here anyway? Is this really on your route? Sasha just shrugged. Honestly, the further from my apartment, the better. His gaze darted between the hanging signs in the nearby shops in hopes of finding Jukebox. Actually, that makes sense. So who are we looking for? Skeezy guy, probably late 20s, old outdated pair of sneakers. Taryn, never met him before, so probably a new buyer. Never met him, and you weren't going to ask me to come? Wow, I see. They wanted to meet at Jukebox. My bank account's at higher risk than my safety. Not far away from them, a man who fit Mishka's earlier description gazed up from his phone, peered around, then looked back down. A few moments later, the man lifted his head and looked around again. Yeah, so, is that him? Mishka motioned with his head, his hand sliding instinctively into his pocket, where his knives are. Probably. Whoa, it's a mole! Give me a second. Look at this! Oh, look at this! Look at them huge jewels! King C, look at these, I'm assuming Twitters. And people who, gave them more money than I thought of giving them. Good on them. I think I just got the base package and the stickers and pins because I think my partner got the soundtrack and such. Maybe I did? I don't remember. It's hard to remember. It was years ago. Which I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying they actually took their time. They made a good game. I'm saying my memory is poo-poo garbage. The two of them approached the stranger. Oh shit. I know the voice I'm giving this guy. Hey, are you Taryn? The man turned and squinted at Sasha. With a hearty laugh, he flipped his phone around and shoved it into his pants pocket. Hey man, I thought you'd be taller. His teeth flashed in a smile. Anyway, what's up? Other than bringing me my order? Or wait, are you Sasha? Or you? He pointed towards Mishka. Yep, that's him. Probably never buys his own shit. I hate this. Shifting into customer service mode, Sasha's tone changed into something more confident. I'm travel size, or would you rather I be on everybody's radar? Oh shit, now, hey man, that just means you can squeeze into small spaces, right? With a chortle, he dug. Oh god damn it! Every time I do the and all that, it's actually in the dialogue he's supposed to be doing. Oh, it's too good. With a chortle, he dug into his pocket and started pulling out wads of cash, flipping through them only after he licked his thumbs first. Gross. Taryn paused to look up at Mishka for a moment. Then he went back to his counting. Something like, what, 200 for a gram? Didn't you say you wanted to meet at Jukebox? It's close enough. Sasha interjected, watching the stack of money his man pulled out in broad daylight.
So...
Do you not have a payo or a coined link to your C card? I also take crypto. The thought of carrying cash around made him nervous. No, cutie. I don't like to be traced. So how much is it? The new NS shit is expensive, isn't it? 1,400. Oh. 14,000. $200 if you're paying USD. It's my last batch for a reason. That's about what Alexi mentioned. I'm game. Does that come with dinner with you too? The fuck? Though he meant to mutter the words under his breath, Mishka's voice rose sharply. That'll cost you at least 3 times as much. Sasha wouldn't consider this guy his type, but he didn't mind his ego being stroked. Oh, so you're fancy, huh? Well, lucky for you, I'm loaded. All kinds of loaded. I don't think you could afford my appetite. Sasha, what the fuck? Taryn grinned at Sasha, still flipping through the bundle of cash. Alright, so, what, 200 USD for the bag and 800 for you? I ain't talking about dinner, you know. His tongue stuck out playfully between his teeth. Ugh. Jaw creaking with how hard he clenched his teeth, Mishka balled his hands into his fists. His nails bit sharply into his palms, and every muscle of his body was rigid. Sasha pulled out a small cellophane bag with a violet emblem inside his jacket.
Seriously?
It fits him too much! The fact that every time you would put a shaggy is when he hit, or like immediately it says he chuckled. It fits too fucking well! Do you dote on all your dealers this way? The drug was held lightly between his fingers so you could off the product and take the payment at the same time. Just the cute ones! He smirked and slid the wad of cash into Sasha's hand. Taking the baggie as well, with his free hand, Taryn grabbed Sasha's forearm and pulled him closer. And you're pretty cute! Get the fuck back. Mishka stepped forward, pushing his arm between the other two and roughly shoving Taryn away from Sasha. Hey, what the fuck, man? Taryn growled, stumbled back a little. Temper igniting like a spark, he put both his hands on Mishka's chest and shoved him back. Who the fuck do you think you are? Ugh. Hey, you all need to chill the fuck out. Sasha glanced around anxiously, knowing they were making a scene. Oh, you'll fucking know who I am in a second, shithead. The scowl Mishka wore intensified, and Sasha's voice fueled the adrenaline coursing through him.
Are you kidding me?
Mishka, we're not doing this right now. The uproar had already gained the attention of a few onlookers, all of them slowing down to better see the fight. Hey, what's going on over here? An officer on patrol started to make his way towards them, craning his neck in an attempt to gauge the situation. Ah, fuck. Sasha felt his stomach flip as the cop approached. This had never happened before. He's usually really good at keeping a low profile.
Come on.
God damn it, Sasha, we should bail. Alright, I'm gonna have to ask you all to calm down. Hey, what's that you got there in your hand? Shit, fuck this man, I'm out. Seeing that the officer was still some distance away, Taryn quickly pocketed the drug that had been spotted and took off. He disappeared into a labyrinth of shops and side streets around the tower. Sasha felt his throat tighten and his heartbeat thundered in his ears. We can't afford this.
Fuck! We have to run!
We don't have enough money for a bribe. Go! Yeah, run. You're telling me this tiny twink can't outrun a cop?
Sasha!
Ah, fuck yeah, we got some Hotline Miami music. Oh. Sasha, now. Mishka urgently grabbed at his friend's jacket and shoved him forward. Shaken from his daze, Sasha bolted. He didn't trust himself to look back when he heard the cop give chase. Hey! I can't outrun this guy! Sasha huffed as he sharply turned the corner and tried to keep up with Mishka. Doesn't matter, just keep running. Mishka checked over his shoulder and suddenly grabbed Sasha's wrist, tugged him to the left. Where are we going? They didn't get a good look at us, right? We don't stand out? Well, I mean, you are the two, you're one of the only handful of people here with color in your models, so you kind of stand out. His footsteps were getting uneven, his legs growing heavy. Are you seriously out of breath already? Mishka couldn't stop himself from smiling and shook his head as they ran. Easy for you to say, you're like a giraffe. Mishka quickly assessed their options. The footsteps of the cop in pursuit grew louder. Up ahead, there was an alleyway that looked promising, but it was pretty dark there, despite the sun setting in the sky. The North Market was well lit and populated, but cluttered with obstacles that could cause problems for Sasha. I feel like Sasha should be able to get through obstacles better than the cop, right? But the alleyway's... that's a dangerous alleyway. We saw a guy get killed down there. We're gonna go through the North Market.
Come on.
Sasha, this way. Mishka motioned towards the market, dashing toward it. Push through people and keep your head low. We can lose them in the crowd. Sasha stumbled a bit and then took off running like his life depended on it. Mishka was close to his tail, occasionally looking over his shoulder to make sure they were putting distance between themselves and the cop. Shit, my god, this is so hard. Don't stop, Sasha. Keep going. The words of encouragement didn't help at all, and Sasha's legs grew heavier and heavier the further they went. I seriously can't. This is torture. They're going to find us from your whining alone. Weaving in and out of the throngs of people slowed them down as much as it concealed them. It was hard to tell which way their pursuer had gone. The tip of Sasha's shoe caught on the uneven pavement as he stumbled forward, just barely catching himself with his hands. Despite the situation, Mishka found himself cackling at Sasha's fall, though he still helped him up. Are you kidding? Come on, man. We're just walking at this point. We can head out the south side and catch the bus. Okay. He didn't have the energy to step back, not after this parkour sprint. Just a little further. Sasha had hit the point where he felt so miserable that he wasn't bothered by the eyes of the strangers watching as they ran past. Mishka jogged around the corner towards a chain link fence. Without stopping, he rapidly climbed up and over, dropping onto the other side. What? Sasha's eyes widened, and his heart sank as he thought of trying to climb that fence. He abruptly slowed down, and the pain of their escape hit him all at once. His face radiated with heat, and his feet throbbed. The chain link fence shook when Sasha grabbed it, but he didn't move.
Are you kidding me?
There's no fucking way. He shook his head in defeat.
Sasha!
No, Sasha, there is a fucking way, and it's you getting up and over this fence. Sasha reached a little higher, and his hands felt numb when he tried gripping hard enough to lift his weight off the ground. Oh my god, Sasha. Chuckling despite their situation, Mishka shook his head. Dude, you are so out of it. I'll be sure to practice my fence hopping. Stop. Turn around and put your hands up. The space between them and the officer was rapidly closing. Jesus Christ, Sasha, come on. Sasha closed his eyes and leaned his forehead against the fence. I can't. He turned towards the cop, lifting his weakened arms. Fuck it. Mishka grabbed at the chain link and scaled the fence as swiftly as before, dropping between Sasha and the approaching officer. Alright, you've got us. You didn't have to, but didn't feel like it mattered now. Slowly, they both raise their hands and ease down onto their knees, surrendering. Uh-oh. The sound of metal doors closing echoed loudly into the holding cell Sasha and Mishka found themselves in. Although it was clean and they had a little barrel to poop in, a little barred window near the ceiling, it was a bit cramped. Luckily, sharing with strangers wasn't something they had to worry about. Alone in the cell, Sasha and Mishka sat quietly on a metal bench near the back. A baton suddenly struck the bars in front of them, jarring both from their thoughts. Alright, give me your seat cards. Come on, bring them over here. Don't have all day. When neither of them moved to stand up, the officer hit the bars again. This time was even louder than the last. Hey, got a listening problem? I said bring me your seat cards. With a disgruntled noise and a slight eye roll, Mishka eased himself off the metal bench and dug into his pocket, searching for the card. Sasha wasn't far behind him, also looking in his pockets. Before Sasha could stand, Mishka held out his hand for his friend's seat card. Once he had the cards, he approached the officer behind the bars. Here. He squeezed his hand between the bars and held the cards out to the officer. Took you long enough. The officer swiped both the cards from Mishka's hand and turned to walk down the tiled hall. Hey, we'll get those back, right? Yep. After we process them on your prints, get comfy. You're gonna be here a while. Mishka gripped the bars of the cell door and sighed as the officer's footsteps faded down the hall. You are so bad at running away from people. Sasha shrugged and gave a wry smile, tucking his hands into his jacket pockets as he slumped back against the concrete wall. What do you expect? I'm no athlete. Mishka turned away from the bars and leaned back against them, watching Sasha. Athlete, Sasha. Doesn't take an athlete to run a block. Mishka grinned and ran his hands through his hair, laughing with a slow shake of his head. Hey, my talents lie elsewhere, okay? Running's overrated. Oh, running is overrated anyway. Well, we can start training you on how to jump fences, but we'll start with baby gates. Too high. Cinder blocks. A stick. There we go. Mishka chuckled. So, lifting his hand to rub awkwardly at the back of his neck, Mishka glanced towards the hall, visible through the cell bars. Sasha looked away. What?
Hey.
I guess I should apologize. I'm sorry. You guess? Okay, I might have... Okay, I did fuck up back there. That was pretty uncool of me. That guy was a tool, though, you have to admit. Sasha's gaze remained averted. Yeah, him and most of my clients. But I still have to do my job, and I can't do that from inside a jail cell. Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me? Is sorry going to clean my record and get me out of here? Despite the tension, Mishka smiled a little and casually crossed his arms.
Well...
I'm sure I could work something out. Hey! Mishka turned sharply to face the officer who now stood at the cell doors. Alright, we ran your seat cards. You each get a phone call, and you, Pinky. We got a lot of explained to you. Do you know how many knives we pulled off you? Okay, so they did. I was about to ask, did they not dig through their pockets? Why are they asking for their C cards? You had to have dug through their pockets, and if not, you just gave a shit ton of knives inside a jail cell. Sasha watched as Mishka started for the door and then followed the cop out of the holding cell. I'm telling the voice actor, he's online and just responded to me. So I gotta say hi and tell him where I'm at. Together, Mishka rounded the corner behind the officer. Alright, you got 10 minutes and one call. Make it a good one. Don't talk too much, do ya? Whatever. Phone's over there. Wipe it down when you're done. Mishka approached the row of ancient-looking phone lines and proceeded to pick up the receiver. When he did, a small screen projected above the number pad. With practiced ease, he dialed a familiar number and waited quietly. He watched as the screen flickered before faintly displaying a pixelated
State
face.
your name and coordinates.
It's me. I'm in jail. I need you to get us out. One moment. Mishka glanced up from the phone, sweeping his gaze over the people in the lobby. Alright, I'm here. Why are you in jail? That doesn't matter. Can you just get us out? Us? Who's us? Is someone else there with you now? Yes, a friend. We were caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Doesn't matter, it's not a big deal. Is your C card not working? They should have let you out when they scanned the encryption. Do you really want to play 20 questions with me right now? I've got limited time on this thing. And Sasha doesn't have the same C card as me. I'm not leaving him here. So call them and bail us out. Sasha? Dima, seriously, time limit. Okay, I'll call the station. But Mishka, this can't be a situation more than once. You being in jail is a huge inconvenience for us, and it's reckless on your part. Sure, whatever. I'm serious. Be careful, please. The streets are hot right now. Keep your head down. Alright, get off my case. Mishka. What? Be careful. Yup. Bye. And please stop running from the cop. Mishka abruptly set the receiver back onto the hook, his eyes closing with aggravation. The cop behind him eyed him like a hawk, occasionally glancing over Mishka's shoulder at the now black screen on the landline. You done? Come on. Mishka complied and turned to follow the officer back down the hall and towards the holding cell. Now a minute had passed before the sound of a static blared from the officer's walkie-talkie. Hey, Kimrick, this is Smith, over. Hey, Smith, go ahead, over. Those two in the holding cell D4, they're free to go, over. What? Alright, affirmative, over and out. After a quick tone from the receiver, the signal ended. With an exasperated sigh, the cop turned to Mishka with a look of disdain. Friends in high places won't always be able to bail you out, punk. I'll need my phone and, all eight of my knives back. Ah! Your stuff's on the counter there. I'll go get your friend. Mishka went to collect his confiscated things and silently pocketed them one by one. He slid his phone onto his back pocket and waited for Sasha. Huh? They're letting us go? Just like that? Yup. How?
Come on.
Grab your phone. Do you want me to come back over tonight? Honestly, I just want to sleep. I've already called Ari to come pick me up. You did run a lot. Besides, if you're over all the time, when will you have time to miss me? All the time. Yeah, don't let it get to your head. I'll just call or text later. I won't answer because I'll be asleep. Dumb. Tell, Ari I said hi.
Hey.
Sasha. Speak of the devil and they shall appear. Hey, Ari. Whoa! I'm sorry. I didn't realize everyone was going to be hot. Before Arisha could respond, Mishka was already on his way out.
Come on.
You, good to go, Sasha? Let's get out of here. Yeah, let's go. The sound of two car doors closing echoed in the dimly lit parking garage, soon followed by the roar of the car's engine coming to life. Oh, yeah, everyone's hot. Yeah, I thought you knew. Well, no offense. I didn't realize we were gonna... I didn't realize we were gonna deal with, listen up 4 through 7s, a 10 is talking. Well, it's one 10 to another kind of scenario. Orisha clicked their seatbelts into place and glanced over at their friend, fingers tightening at the steering wheel. I already know what you're going to say.
Good. Then you know how tired I am of bailing you out of these spats between you two.
Oh shit. Do you know how I'm missing my self-defense class to come pick you up? What even happened? It was just a normal drop. Mishka didn't like the guy. Some cop saw and that was it. Uh-huh. That was it. As if Mishka's jealous tendencies haven't gotten you into shit like this before. Risa shook their head slowly. Their manicured fingernails loosened their grip on the wheel as the car turned out of the parking space. Am I wrong? No. Look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just worried you're wasting your energy on a dead end. I know. Does the water have to be over your head for you to realize you're in too deep? By the way, I'm noticing that they-them representation. You cannot get thrown in jail again. You're a dealer. How do you even get out? No one can afford bail in this city. I don't know. Mishka went to make his phone call, and after that the cop came back and let us out. That's shady as fuck, Sasha. What's worse is he wouldn't tell me how, and I did ask. He seems real choosy on what I should and should not know. That Mishka, though, he's secretive. But not with me. Apparently he is from what you're telling me. Maybe they're right. Sasha looked out the window, watching the shops and streets lights fly by. Roads were almost empty at this time of night. Why do you put up with this? Why not just tell him that it isn't working? Because it's clearly not. There is no this. We're not in a relationship. Oh no. Could have fooled me. Like everyone else, man. And like everyone else, man.
Seriously?
We're not dating. So then what are y'all? Because whatever it is, it doesn't look good from where I'm standing. Are you friends with benefits? No, I don't know. Can we please?
Sasha.
Sasha, there's all kinds of relationships out there, and babe, whether you like it or not, you're in one. Is there just I want a supercut of every single character disapprovingly saying the word Sasha. Friends fight all the time. You got so pissed at me once when we were building your bed frame. You didn't talk to me for a week. That was a bed frame, Sasha. This is jail. I just picked you up from jail. Fine, I'll add don't get arrested on my list of goals. Right next to not eating before bedtime. Yeah, well, at least think about what I said. I don't like seeing you like this. Tires eased to a stop next to the curb beside Sasha's apartment complex. With the engine still running, Arisa put the vehicle in park. Almost immediately after the car stopped, Sasha pulled the door handle and stepped out. Uh-huh. Thanks for picking me up.
Hey.
Hey, oh, and if I miss another class with my hot instructor because of you, it'll be another week of not talking. Call me later. Sasha couldn't help but a small smile forming as he rolled his eyes and shut the car door. Watched the little hatchback pull away from the curb and rumble down the street. So then, what are y'all? Sasha sighed before heading into his apartment building. Does this... You know... Give me a second. I want to save because I don't know if this has been... Okay, that's a smart move on my part. I was like, I have not been noticing like a little autosave thing, and I don't... Sometimes play novels don't do that. Oh, I can check my text messages whenever I want. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. There's too many bells and whistles. Fuck, I'm so hungry. I gotta stop waking up so late. With a slow yawn, Sasha headed down the sidewalk and looked for a place to grab something to eat. He passed by quite a few good restaurants, but none of them were exactly what he was craving. The craving itself was hard to pin down, though. What do I even want to eat? Woo. Speaking of which, morning sunshine, gotta pick up for ya. Okay, when? At 1300 today. It's at the flower shop. It's 1300 right now. Sure is. Get moving. What do I do with it? Sell it? You'll drop it off at Club Trinity later tonight. I'll be there. See you then. Okay. What a tool. So much for grabbing something to eat first. Sasha pocketed his phone and sighed deeply, his stomach grumbling. He could see the shop already. The sheer number of potted plants and hanging baskets of flowers clustered around the storefront were a dead giveaway. At least it smelled nice. Is that a purple sports car? In this part of town? Parked in front of the small inner-city flower shop was a sleek car that cost an easy $250,000. That's the hot person Mink didn't want me to know about, the purple sports car. It gets its own character portrait. Stuck out like a sore thumb in the mostly vacant parking spaces in front of the building. Sasha glanced at the car as he walked by, though the windows were too tinted to see who was inside. He pushed open the door to the flower shop and it gave a soft jingle as he entered. Rows and rows of assorted plants lined the walls, filling the air with the fresh scent of countless flowers. I want to look at this one. There's a good amount of succulents here. And once again, you got these cute little advertisements for people that Katie Bear bakes. Oh, I like. Oh, this is good. This is good shit. The fragrance was strong, but overall quite nice, and Sasha breathed it in appreciatively. He paused at the entrance for a moment before approaching the cashier.
Hey there.
Oh shit! Normally I don't like heterochromia, but she's hot. Oh shoot, I forgot to mop the back. It should be... Sasha, hey! Hey, Siren. Working the double shift? Yep, my rent says I can't work under 12 hours a day. I'm joking, but not really. I just reached a character that I could safely say will be your favorite. Oh no, they have giant round spectacles, short red hair, curvy in all the right spots. Freckles. assuming they're femme-coded. That's like my femme-coded type. I hear that. My balance is looking pretty sad right now. Yeah. Anyways, are you here to help me stock the shop, please? Nope, sorry. I just picked up a shipment today. It would have been filled within the last hour or so, I think, under Alexi. Aw, man, I really could have used that help. I'll check the sheet to see if it's ready. If it's in the back, though, I'll have to wait. Is something wrong? Something from corporate is back there. Someone from corporate is back there. Things are chaotic right now. Chaotic? It's a flower shop. How bad can it get? Oh, you don't know the half of it. Siren leaned over the counter a bit and motioned for Sasha to come closer. Curious, Sasha obliged. There was a break-in last night. Some real spooky shit. So I sent someone in to check everything, I guess. Oh, fuck! I just realized. Give me a second. I got clues. The R right here down at the bottom center on that display. That was on the purple box. That when Mishka stabbed that guy, that was drugs. Even worse, apparently a dead dealer was found in an alley not far from here. Shit's crazy, Sasha. Never seen it like this before. Don't even get me started on that old ladies coming in for their poppies. They're the worst of them all. The mention of a dead dealer made the back of Sasha's neck tingle. The dealer? Were they one of ours? I don't think so, but I don't remember either. I connected the dots. Me good at puzzle. It was only one dealer, but still. Be careful, Sasha. Abruptly, the door leading to the back room opened. Emerging from the stockroom was a tall, built man carrying a plum pad. For someone sent from corporate, he was pretty casually dressed. He's got that Ramona Flowers haircut, that haircut like this. Okay, that guy is definitely a bouncer. Flower shops don't have bouncers, though. Siren flashed Sasha a glance as if to alert him of the approaching man. Oh, that was so fast. All done back there then?
Yeah, everything looks good so far.
Oh, that
Can I
voice.
see the book for the shop's shipments?
I don't like that voice. I don't know why, but I did not expect that voice to come out of that body. Yeah, everything looks good so far. May I see the books from the shop's inventory? Oh yeah, one second. Let me find it. And okay, here you go. As if his life depended on how fast he could comply, Siren thrust out his arms and offered. Oh, I'm sorry to misgender. Oh, yes, man. My bad. I'm glad to see the baby's breath is selling well. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong binder. Let me just Quickly ducking down behind the counter, Siren searched frantically for the correct binder and popped back up a few seconds later. Okay, yeah, purple binder for inventory. Here you go. Selling flowers and drugs is hard to keep track of sometimes. Thanks. Oh, shipments. Sasha had a shipment. 1 second, Sasha. Sorry, let me get to that. Before the end of the sentence, Siren had already vaulted over the counter and briskly headed towards the back. Once Siren had slipped away, the room was filled with silence. The only sound in the room now was the quiet taps of the man typing on his tablet, as he compared the notes in the binder to his own. Sasha finally broke the silence.
So...
Flowers, serious business, I see. The man looked up from his tablet. My boss would argue it is. If a single petal in this shop ends up damaged, there will be hell to pay for it. It's hard to do like deep and nasally for me. Wait, are we really talking about flowers right now, or something else? Wow, your boss sounds kinda... Oh god, Oh no! Is the car actually sapient? Is Lightning McQueen the drug lord? Sasha's thoughts were cut off by incessant honking from the vehicle outside the shop. Oh, that's my cue. Well, I hope you... Honk! I hope you have a good day. Honk! Take care. Honk! What you doing, Kiwi? With that, the man closed the binder and turned to leave. The bell on the door chimed faintly as he pushed through and left the store. Sasha peered out the window, watching the man get into the driver's seat of the purple car. Man, I wish I had money. Okay, woo! Sorry that took so long. For some reason I had to dig to find this one. Anyways, here you... Oh, did Vadim leave? That guy from corporate? Yeah, didn't get to say goodbye. Oh well. With a shrug, Siren held out a rectangular purple box wrapped in a lavender ribbon. A small white logo was printed on the lid. Anyway, here's your shipment, and remember what I said, yeah? About being careful? Sasha picked up the ornate box, lifting and rotating as he examined the packaging. This looks more like a cake box. Good. Then you can tell people it's just a cake. See you, Sasha. Sasha gave out a light chuckle, having no complaints about the inconspicuous shipment.
Yeah.
Later. After his goodbyes, he pushed against the door and left. The sun overhead was intense, and Sasha squinted against the glare, lifting a hand to his forehead to shield his eyes. With his other hand cradling the box under his arms, he walked towards the nearest bus stop. Sasha took a seat at the empty bus stop. Thankfully for the shade at the top of the bench proved, he set his box on his lap and he stared at it. And the other night they found a dead dealer in the alley. The longer he stared at the box, the tenser his brows became. You'll drop it off at Club Trinity later tonight. I'll be there. Sasha didn't notice his thumb starting to fray the cardboard tab on the box as he lost in his thoughts. Be careful, Sasha. He fished the phone out of his jacket and laughed as he swiped through his contacts, his stomach rumbling loudly. Pulling up Mishka's checkbox, he typed a quick message. Hey, you hungry? Want to meet up for food? The sound of labored breathing accompanied the steady impact of shoes on concrete while Mishka's jogged down the street. A single earbud beeped to inform him of a new text. Oh no, now he's hot! He just had a shitty outfit before! About time, he messaged. It's been almost a day. He slowed to a stop near the corner of the street, one hand pulling out his phone while the other wiped his forehead. Mishka glanced down at the message and dropped his shoulders as he read. Guess he's not upset anymore. He briefly glanced over his shoulder before eyeing the message again. I guess I'll go. I'm kind of hungry anyway. Responding with a simple, yeah, East Market 1 hour, he pocketed the phone. He had an hour to jog home. Shower, get changed, and commute to the east side. It was totally possible, right? With a quick shrug and a grin, Mishka started jogging again. Sorry, I thought I just bit my lip. Seeing that person being so hot, I was like, am I bleeding now? Some sort of combat going on behind me. I think my cat's having a fight with her litter box. The narrow aisles of the outdoor market were lined with kiosks and food stands almost as far as the eye could see. Crowds of people swarmed around the various booths and wove between each other as they walked past the bustling street. It was an easy place to blend into, and an easy place to get lost within. Yeah, I'm bleeding a little. Mishka stood near an egg waffle booth while he waited for Sasha to arrive. Shouldn't be too much longer, right? With a quick glance around at his phone screen, he sighed. Finally, Sasha sauntered up behind his taller friend and gently slapped Mishka's arm in greeting. Ah, you're late.
Wait, did I scare you?
Huh, very funny. Glad you made it. Yeah, I'm really hungry. Come on, let's go get something. He's clearly feeling better. Ah. Various scents of hot, savory, fried, and boiled foods filled the air. The aroma was almost a form of torture to Sasha, who hadn't eaten yet today. There's so many choices here, it's hard to pick. It all smells pretty good, honestly. Well, whatever you pick, I'll pay. Mishka arched an eyebrow and stared intently at his friend. You sure about that? Jeez, Mishka, just pick. Sasha waved his hand dismissively and started down the tapered street. Mishka followed after him, taking in all the food options as they had in front of him. I want fish balls, egg waffles, and boba. Gross. I want spicy seafood pad thai. I want hot soup. I want hot soup! Wait, I was making a Mishka choice? And that's all you want, really? I said I'm paying. And all you get is soup? I'm not too hungry, it's fine. Okay, your loss, I guess. That's interesting. I did not expect to make a Mishka choice. I figured it would only be Sasha choices. Sasha laughed softly and shook his head while he searched his jacket for his card. When he found it, he held it out to the vendor and be swiped. Question. Mishka slid his hand into his front pockets and turned his attention to Sasha. I have to meet up with my boss later tonight at Club Trinity. I don't want to go alone, so... It's always when you need something from me, isn't it? So I was wondering if you'd come with me? Sasha didn't look at Mishka when he asked. Not at first. His fingers slowly pulled his zipper up and down his jacket. Mishka's response was almost automatic, but the light briefly left his eyes. Are you asking me to go dancing with you? Why are you like this? Mishka laughed at his friend. Of course I'll come. We can bail after the drop, go hang out or something. Just then, their food was finished, and Sasha reached in for the steaming bowls eagerly, practically drooling when he saw the glistening rice noodles. Grab some napkins and forks. I'll find us somewhere to eat. Anything else for your majesty? Sasha disregarded the comment and chose one of the many small iron tables squeezed between the stalls to sit at. Mishka stopped for a moment, looking behind himself into the crowd, fixated on something. Hey, come on, I want to eat! With what was way more napkins than needed, Mishka walked over and set the stacks onto the table as he sat down. Are you serious? You asked for napkins and I aim to please. Sasha laughed as he draped his jacket over the back of his chair and set the box from the flower shop onto the table next to him. Upon seeing the ornate packaging, Mishka's brow grew tense. Pink eyes scrutinized the logo stamped on the front. Where did you get that box? Sasha followed Mishka's eyes while he hunched over his food and stuffed his mouth with noodles. He slurped before speaking. Oh, this? It's my shipment. I know, it looks like a cake box. Have your shipments always looked like that? Nah, this one's new. My guess is they don't want it to look suspicious. It spreads through the city faster that way. Remember those tablets I was packaging in my room the other night? That's what this is. The NS. Gideon is G-Man? Nightshade is NS? Sasha wiped his mouth before picking up the box and looking at it once more. Do you know what NS stands for? It stands for not sure. Well, no it doesn't. Might as well. I don't know anything about it other than it's his fault and it's potent. I need to save a shaggy bit. 1 hour 45. NS is. Sorry, I'm trying to get better, more clips and that sort of thing in general. And I think that bit would be a good bit. Sasha shrugged before setting it back down. I'm not selling this batch, but I wouldn't be surprised if they add it into my normal rotation soon. The sooner he gets rid of that box, the better. Mishka, what's up? You're making a face. Huh? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. Okay. It didn't take too long for them to finish, especially at the rate Sasha was scarfing down the food. Mishka glanced over his shoulder briefly. Now for dessert. Oh yeah, and that would be? I haven't decided yet, but I'll know when I see it. I'll feel it in my bones. I can somehow totally believe that your bones can sense dessert. That's definitely on brand for you. Don't forget your box. Yeah, no, forgetting that would be the end of me, probably. He grabbed the box and carefully tucked it under his arm. The two of them stood from the little table, tossed their trash, and continued down the busy street. As dusk approached and all the lights of the market turned on and illuminated their path. Overhanging lanterns and signs flickered to life, giving the East Market a whole new atmosphere. Beauty! Oh, look at this art! Look at this little pumpkin! Look at that little pumpkin! Look at all these fucking pumpkins! There it is up ahead. The gods of fried food have spoken and my bones are answering. Sasha led them to a crepe stand where several classic and unique flavors of crepe were displayed. Fruity, savory, decorated, simple. You could have it all here. But the real question is, what flavor? You're probably going to get strawberry, huh? Sasha glanced back at Mishka, who is looking off to who knows where. What are you looking at? Mishka shook his head and turned, giving his undivided attention back to Sasha. Nothing. Why is he being weird? It's getting late. We should probably start heading toward the club. The sooner we drop your box off, the sooner we can leave. But my crepe! Get your crepe and eat it on the way. But I don't know what flavor I want. God, I love him. My partner loves crepes. I always tease him like, oh, what flavor of crap are you getting? Dusk had faded into the night, and the city's neon glow illuminated the streets with various colors. A massive line had formed outside of Club Trinity, winding around the front of the building and continued down the sidewalk. Loud music spilled from the doors every time they opened to let in new groups of people. As Sasha and Mishka approached, Mishka whistled gently.
Hey.
Dang, it's really busy tonight. I can see that. I didn't think anything special was happening tonight, though. Looks like it's going to be packed in there. Huh? Hey, you said you'd come. Don't back out now. Yeah. Well, the sooner we get in, the sooner we can leave, right? Then it's video games and pizza at your place. Honestly, that sounds 1,000 times better than doing this delivery. Me too, Sasha, me too. I want to go to Hucky Hees. Exactly. Where do you have to meet your boss anyway? Probably the VIP room. He wouldn't feel important enough anywhere else. Mishka huffed and rolled his eyes, digging into his pockets to look for a C card as they moved up in line. I like clubbing, I just don't want to be here for work. I get that. How can you relax and enjoy it when you're worried about work? Sasha nodded and stepped up to the bouncer at the entrance now that it was their turn. He brandished his C card and with a quick scan and beep, headed towards the doors. Mishka stepped forward to do the same, but stopped when he noticed something. God, I already used my crunk. Okay, give me a second. Hey, I need your card. Ignoring the man's tone, Mishka stared intently towards the rooftops above them, his brows deeply furrowed. Hey, you want in or what? Mishka, come on, stop stargazing or whatever you're doing, you weirdo. I want to get this over with. No, I'm not going to do Stewie. Mishka looked away and exhaled sharply, handing over his C card to be scanned. That's a special occasion voice. He pocketed it for a moment later, and after a final lingering look over his shoulder, joined Sasha, where he stood by the club doors. I'll do a Paul Lynde before I do the Stewie. Are you sure you're okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. I need a drink. Together they entered the club and were met by the pulsating, all-encompassing bass that shook the very foundation of the building. A cold wind blew between the buildings. The vibe Ada gives, he's just in a completely fucking different game. Like, everyone else is in a fucking play novel. Ada's in a Metroidvania. The vibrations from the speakers rumbled in Sasha's chest so powerfully he could feel it in his fingertips. The pounding rhythm of the music and strobing lights engulfed them, sucking them into the club's atmosphere. The two pushed through the crowd, weaving tightly between people. Mishka stayed closely behind Sasha, who seemed determined to get to the bar. Once they were there, Sasha slid into a high stool and propped his elbows onto the countertop. Mishka stood next to him, easing close to Sasha's ear so his friend could hear him. You really need a drink to get through this? Sasha swatted at his friend playfully, making sure he still had his arm secured around the small purple box. It's just a drink! I want to loosen up a bit before heading up there. Where's the VIP room anyway? Pink eyes scanned the dancing crowd and swept over to the back of the room, trying to spot any roped off areas. Mishka looked back down at Sasha. In the back! Somewhere over there, I think. Half leaning out of the stool and onto the counter, Sasha raised his voice to order his fruity drink. The bartender gave a nod and started mixing. Sasha grabbed a nearby napkin and started shredding it absent-mindedly. You want a drink? No, I'm good. Okay, that's weird. You drink more than I do. Are you still upset? No, really, I'm good. I just want to stay on my toes tonight. Sasha shrugged and wrapped his nimble fingers around the glass that had just been set in front of him. He smiled at the bartender and stuck a tiny straw into the drink. He stirred the ice for a few seconds before taking a slow sip. Mishka watched his friend for a moment, his brow lifting curiously. Sasha, are you stalling? What? No, I'm not. Okay, yeah, you are. I just don't want to go back there. The shredded remains of Sasha's napkin sat in a neat pile next to his drink, leaving him to play with his straw. Look, the sooner you do this... I know, the sooner I can be done with it, I get it. Alexei can wait for a little, it's fine. You want to try this? Sasha... Mishka draped an arm around Sasha's shoulder and sighed. He reached for the drink in his friend's hand and took a sip. It's not bad. Now come on, you can do this, right? It is that bad. Alexei sucks. With a groan, Sasha stood up and... Whoa, give me a second. That's a weird ponytail. I don't know why. It gives me... That's a bad vibe ponytail. Like that, this right here is a good vibe ponytail. That's a bad vibe ponytail. I don't know. My brain first said rat tail when I saw it, so it put me on edge. With a groan, Sasha stood up and leaned into Mishka's one-armed embrace. He finished the rest of his drink in one swift motion and set the empty cup onto the counter behind him. As they pushed their way through the dance floor, it became apparent just how packed the club really was. Sasha squeezed past a few people with Mishka following close behind. The door before them was bright red, a stark contrast against the darkness of the club's walls. A broad-shouldered man stood at the threshold with his arms crossed. Sasha moved closer, sheepishly scratching the side of his nose. Hey, Richard, was it? I'm here to see Alexei. Mishka glanced behind them. Once they reached the door, scanning the faces in the crowd. What's the phrase? Shit, what was it? The bouncer eyed Sasha a little skeptically, then looked over at Mishka, who merely shrugged in response. I'm with him. Oh, it's, Alone the Wolf Dies Out. Cringe, but okay. When the bouncer gave an affirmative nod, he stepped to the side and opened the door. And I think this is a good spot to save. Sasha and Mishka walked inside, the purple box still cradled under Sasha's arm. About time. There he is, the man of the hour. Did you have trouble finding the room? Not really. Then I guess you have another reason for taking so damn long. A wave of snickers erupted from the people arranged around Alexei, none of whose names he could recall at the top of his head. Alexei, who was reclining comfortably on a couch in the middle of the room, slipped a finger into his mouth and rubbed at his front teeth. The man clapped his hands together and smiled widely at Sasha. I see you brought an unexpected friend. Who's he? He nodded towards Mishka, who stood quietly behind Sasha's left side. He's with me, don't worry about him. Cousin! Big American titties! Yeah, that's where I steal my Russian. It's just fucking... I could not get very far in that game, but his cousin is memes. Right, well, did you bring the supply or did you forget it? As if I'd come up here just to hang out with you otherwise, I picked it up this afternoon. You know, when you texted me? Alexei chuckled and held out his hand expectantly. Sasha handed the box over and watched as his boss set it on the little coffee table in front of him. The folding lock was opened, and Alexei peered inside.
There it is, boys.
There it is, boys. Okay, now I know his actual voice. You gotta do like a lazy Bruce Willis. Yippee-ki-yay, fucking yeah, whatever. his smile growing smugger by the second. Alexei reached inside the box and pulled out a small cellophane bag. Sealed inside the bag were a few pastel tablets. So are we good? Is that all you wanted? You'll leave when I tell you to leave. Well, I sold the last of my supply to some jerk at the tower, so will I be getting more? You're going to be selling a whole lot more, don't you worry about that. Not worried. Well, good. Job security is hard to come by these days. He smiled at Sasha a few seconds longer than was comfortable. After returning the baggie back inside the box, Alexei turned towards a man guarding the door and beckoned him over. Here, take this to the warehouse off Kenpa. Get it there by tonight. Warehouse? Are they just gonna store it? I can make 3 months' rent off that supply. Well, you got the shipment, so, chill the fuck out, Sasha. I guess it's also kind of the studio executive from the second episode of Smile and Friends, the Glep. You're doing a Mr. Frog bit. That is hurtful. Mishka stepped a little closer. Dude, I just want to go home. This is supposed to be my day off. Sasha could feel his blood pressure rising. Either that or the alcohol was kicking in. Feeling a little cheeky tonight, huh? Fine, go. But Sasha? What? I'll have another shipment for you by next week. I'll text when it's ready. It'll be double the amount this time. Make sure you sell it all. I know how to do my job. Lexi waved his hand dismissively and focused his attention back on his phone.
Come on.
Sasha, come on, let's go. Lexi thumbed through the contacts on his phone and lifted the device to his ear. Secure the package, and one more thing. Mishka's here. Mishka's gaze swept across the crowd again. He craned his head to look up at the ceiling briefly. Sasha leaned towards Mishka, his hands deep in his jacket pockets, nudging his friend to get his attention. What are you looking at? Nothing. See, that meeting wasn't so bad, right? Sasha scoffed. Anyways, can we go now? My mood is tanking by the minute. I think maybe we should stay a while. You know, we came all this way.
Seriously?
What? You said we could leave after the drop. You want to stay? Mishka smirked softly and reached forward to wrap his arms around his friend's middle. He pulled Sasha close and started backing him onto the dance floor. He leaned over his ear to speak. Sasha groaned in response and resisted his friend's pull. I changed my mind. I want to dance with you. Bullshit, you're just killing time so I don't have enough energy to beat your ass in Dragon Lad. Fine, you caught me. Dance with me anyway. Mishka swayed into the crowd and brought Sasha with him. Sasha wanted to stay mad, but he couldn't help smiling. He rolled his eyes and pushed at his friend's chest a bit, putting some space between them. Okay, fine, but I need another drink first. That meeting was awful. Alright, go get your drink. Mishka watched his friend disappear into the throngs of people as he headed to the bar. Once Sasha was a good distance away, Mishka made for the bathrooms and quickly shut himself inside his stall. He pulled out his phone and pressed his free hand to his ear to shut out the rest of the muffled noise of the club. Dima, did you get my text? Did you get someone to sweep the area out here? He leaned against the metal of the stall and bowed his head, focusing on the voice on the other end. Yeah, I saw him. I don't know if he was tailing me or just in the area, but I saw him. There was a long pause. How long is that going to take? Yeah, okay, thanks. Gotta go, bye. After shoving his phone back into his pocket, Mishka pushed the stall door open and returned to the dance floor. It didn't take long for him to spot Sasha dancing.
Hey.
Hey, did you get the same drink? Where'd you go? I thought you bailed on me for a second. Bathroom. What drink did you get? Without asking, Misha took the glass from Sasha's hand and sipped at it. He smirked down at his friend and held it a little above Sasha's head. Poison. How's it taste? Tart. It's a fruit bomb, they called it. Sasha chuckled and grabbed the drink back. He took a long swig and started to sway, feeling the music course through him. Mishka mirrored his friend, his head bouncing gently while they started to dance. He pushed himself close to Sasha, which wasn't difficult given how little room they had on the crowded dance floor. His drink in hand, Sasha rocked close to his tall friend. They got lost in the ebb and flow of the music, their bodies moving easily to the beat. A floaty feeling crept into Sasha's head, making them feel giddy and light. Well, are you feeling better yet? Sasha gave Mishka a side eye, his smile widening. The drink helps, and I love this song. Taking the last swallow of his drink, Sasha set the empty glass down on a nearby surface and returned his attention to dancing. When Mishka bent close, a tinge of heat prickled at Sasha's neck. He felt his cheeks flush.
Hey.
Your face is red. His breath against Sasha's ear was hot and enticing, sending a wave of warmth down his arms. But before Mishka could entertain the thought of ghosting his lips over his ears, Sasha danced a few steps back. With their eyes locking each other, Sasha's flirtatious smile signaled the start of a game both were familiar with. Keeping his movements in rhythm with the music, Sasha hooked his fingers into Mishka's belt loops. He pulled his friend closer with ease. Mishka was more than happy to oblige. Sasha angled his head upward and pressed his lips feebly into Mishka's jaw.
Mishka.
I mean, we're playing the save fish for work version. So let's see what happens, and let's see if I'm going to get, banned from Twitch forever. See how they program the Save for Work edition. Sasha's fingers crept up Mishka's side and glided over his skin through the fabric. Let's find somewhere less crowded. Mishka kept his eyes trained on Sasha, his faint smile widening. This place is packed. Then let's find somewhere that's not packed. The street was quiet in comparison to the loud, hot room the pair just stepped out of. The night air that cut between the building felt cool against Sasha's skin. Mishka looked down to the top of the nearby buildings as soon as they were outside. He glanced over his shoulder. Oh yeah, because I'm playing the extra spicy, I want to see what the uptight mode is. Me too. I said... Okay, so I'm assuming they went to a bathroom stall and, just double-fisted one another violently. I guess we'll never know. Mishka looked up towards the tops of the nearby building. As soon as they were outside, he glanced over his shoulder and then peered to Sasha. Yes, you know, I know. I know you know. You alright? Everything hurts. Did you call a taxi? Sasha's voice was just above a mumble. His ear still rang from the music, and he was feeling lightheaded. You already asked me that. I said yes. Oh. Sasha closed his eyes and laughed before he bundled up tighter in his jacket. Mishka smiled at his disoriented friend, and they wrapped an arm around him, making sure he wouldn't trip over his own feet. You'll have no trouble getting to sleep tonight. Yeah. The rideshare pulled up to the curb where a tired Sasha was propped against his friend. Here we go. Oh, luxurious. Mishka pulled the door open and held it for Sasha, who easily slipped inside. Once Sasha was in, Mishka looked back up to the rooftops. The leather upholstery of the back seat was pleasantly cool, and he immediately pressed his heated cheek up against it. Mishka leaned inside his car and reached to offer his C-card to the driver. Just charge twice the normal rate and make sure he gets home safe. Sasha's brow furrowed and his head quickly swiveled towards Mishka. Wait, are you not coming with me? Mishka smiled at him. Nah, something came up. Sasha squinted at his friend.
Are you kidding me?
See, I was expecting it to fade and I didn't expect to see anything. I expected the fade to black just say, and them to give and the two embraced, or, so, use the use something an elderly woman would use to describe, like, rough animal fucking at the zoo to a child. And the two played leapfrog. And then it would, like, fade back in. That's stupid. Yep, but I gotta deal with it. The driver handed Mishka's card back to him. Mishka slipped it back into his pocket and leaned on the door for a moment. Don't give me that face. I'm gonna. The pout he wore didn't last long and slowly eased into a smile.
Well,
I'll text you when I'm done. Sasha felt more appeased when Mishka reiterated his plans and nodded. Fine. Go do stupid stuff. Mishka chuckled and waved to Sasha before closing the car door. He watched the car pull away and head down the street. His smile slipped away as he turned. Did I accidentally skip something? No. I just clicked probably too fast for that portrait to show up. Pulled out of a deep sleep, Sasha groaned into consciousness. Lifting his head from the pillow, he squinted over at his phone where it sat on the TV stand. Are you serious? It's so far. He flopped his head back down on the cool pillow and shut his eyes.
Seriously?
Fucking Christ. Propping himself up on one elbow, he glanced back over at his phone. Its screen shone like a beacon in the dark room. What time is it even? Answering phone. Not even bothering to check the caller ID, Sasha begrudgingly grabbed his phone and pressed it to his ear. What? That's the Mishka dialogue. I'm pretty sure. Is this a fucking joke? Who is this? Is my volume on the TV and I just haven't noticed? No, it's out. Oh, you opened your door, didn't you?
It's been open.
Oh, I just didn't hear myself till just now. Gauze, thread, needle, peroxide. Get on the red line. Take it. 3 stops. Sasha's breath hitched in his throat. What? He felt his blood run cold at the sound of the familiar voice. And his heart dropped into his stomach. His entire body froze, unable to move. I'm in an alley. 53rd or 4th intersection, behind the blue dumpster. What happened? Go get everything. Take a deep breath. Sasha shook himself out of his daze and launched himself out of bed, hurrying towards the bathroom. He tucked the phone between his ear and shoulder so he could free up his hands. I'm leaving now. I'm on my way, damn it. Where's my first aid kit? My social's still broken. Give me a second to get my link tree. Because if my own bot stopped me from posting my link tree, well then I've really messed up, haven't I? Haha. The clatter of items falling over in the small bathroom made Mishka chuckle softly on the other end. Don't drop anything, jeez. Sasha couldn't laugh. Not at a time like this. His hands shook as he assembled everything and shoved it all into a plastic bag. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming now. Hang on. I'm coming. He raced to the door, grabbed his jacket and keys, and left as fast as he could. Mishka's ragged breathing was the only sound between him as Sasha bolted to the subway station. It was the longest train ride of Sasha's life. His body felt numb even as he jogged to where Mishka told him to go. 53 and 4th, 53 and 4th, 53 and... The plastic bag crinkled in his jacket as he ran, but he paid it no mind. At this point, all discretion had been tossed out the window.
You're standing on it, dude. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, 53 and a ninth, and a quarter. The alleyway was dark and damp. And an eighth. In any situation, he would have avoided it completely, but now he bolted right in. Hey, I'm here. Where are you? Sasha whipped his head around, searching for his friend. There was no response. Mishka! Mishka, where are you? Shh, over here. Sasha jumped before he turned toward the source of the voice. Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Ignore that screenshot. Seated beside a dumpster with one leg stretched out and the other pulled up to his chest was a hooded Mishka. He held his side tightly with both hands. He could hardly lift his head to look at Sasha. Sasha rushed over and dropped down beside him, his eyes wide. He started to untie the plastic bag with shaking hands. Mishka, what the fuck? Where are you injured? What happened? Mishka shook his head feebly and reached up to grab his mask. He pulled it down off his mouth with a groan. With his hands no longer covering his face, the dark red liquid seeping through his shirt became visible. Sasha's stomach flipped at the sight. Mishka! There's no time. Get the peroxide. Did you bring the sewing kit? Taking the edge of the shirt in his hand, Mishka peeled the wet cloth off his skin with a pained hiss. A sudden stream of blood poured from the gaping wound just below his ribcage. It ran down his skin and pooled under him, staining the asphalt. Sasha's heartbeat began to pulse in his ears. His head felt light, dizzy even. All thought left his mind. He couldn't look away from the stab wound. Sasha, do you know how to sew?
Sasha!
Sasha. What? No, Then thread the needle at least, please. Sasha nodded and rummaged through the bag until he found the needle and thread. His hand couldn't stop shaking while he tried to push the thin string through the metal loop. I can't do it! Mishka winced and balled up his shirt, pressing it firmly against the wound. His brow was tense where he glanced at Sasha. Why not call an ambulance? Keep your voice down, I don't... Sasha could feel his eyes welling up, his throat tightening painfully. Attempting to clear his vision, he wiped at his eyes with his sleeve.
Hey.
It's all right. Just take a deep breath. Mishka's voice sounded further and further away. Sasha choked back the sob that threatened to jump from his throat. It hurt to hold it in. I can't do it. Mishka did his best to lean away from the dumpster and lifted his hands to rest over Sasha's. Although bloody, they were surprisingly not shaking. Deep breath, just one thread. Steady your hands. With Mishka's grip stabilizing his own, Sasha was finally able to push the thread through. A small wave of relief hit him. Got it. Here. Mishka grimaced when he poured the peroxide over the wound, flashing gritted teeth. Don't look. He took the needle from Sasha and began to sew the wound closed. Sasha looked away, feeling sick to his stomach. He peered up at the fire escape above him, then over to the window with the flickering neon sign, then back down at the puddles scattered to the ground around them. Suddenly, Sasha caught a glimpse of something reflected in one of the puddles. His head shot up. At the mouth of the alleyway stood a dark silhouette, its long shadow stretched out towards them. Sasha's heart skipped a beat, his eyes wide. Mishka! Mishka tied off the thread and looked up, turning his head in the direction his friend was staring. Fuck! Sasha, help me up, now! Sasha stared at the figure ahead of them, who was now approaching in a slow walk. Sasha, now! As if shaken from a trance, Sasha shook his head and scrambled to help his taller friend stand up. Two more silhouettes joined the first, all three drawing closer by the second. Run, Sasha, go!
Huh?
And leave you? Stop playing around and come on, please! There was no time. Using whatever adrenaline was left in him, Mishka pushed off the pavement and started running, Sasha close at his side. Each step hurt more than the last. His buddy screamed at him to stop. They rounded the corner of the alley. Small drops of blood splattered in Mishka's wake. The pair stopped in their tracks when they saw the large brick wall ahead of them. This was a dead end. No! Ragged breaths were getting faster. Mishka's gaze darted upwards when he pointed at the fire escape above
Come
them.
on.
We can climb it. We just have to pull up the ladder. Can you reach? Mishka grimaced and grabbed at his side, hunched over. The pain was agonizing. I don't know. Sasha turned back towards the ladder and jumped for the lowest rung. He couldn't reach it. Fuck, Sasha, they're coming. Sasha jumped again, every muscle in his body stressed it to its limit. His arms swiped desperately for the ladder. The approaching figures brandished their knives while their footsteps grew louder. Fuck it. Without hesitation, Mishka grabbed Sasha around the middle and lifted him up as best as he could. He cried out, an agonizing expression, twisting his face. He clenched his jaw and continued to push Sasha up towards the ladder. He could feel the thread of his stitches beginning to rip. Sasha wobbled a little, but stretched out his arms and reached for the lowest rung. When his fingers wrapped around the cold metal, he gasped. Got it. Mishka backed off and gave him a faint smile. Good, now pull. Pull hard. Sasha gave the ladder a sharp tug. Nothing happened. Sasha! Sasha's breathing sped up, panic coursing through him when he realized the ladder was stuck. No, please. Mishka spun around, winced in pain at the sudden movement, his eyes fixed on the three silhouettes closing in on them. They were surrounded. Climb it, Sasha, go! Sasha took his head, a choke sob forcing its way out.
Please.
Not without you! How could this be happening? I can't believe this is... The first assailant stepped out of the shadows into the dim neon glow of the alley, his gold eyes gleaming.
Pathetic.
You're an annoying cockroach, Mishka, but I'm sure you know that. Oh, well, okay, that pose makes Ada look hot. Without warning, Ada leaped forward with both knives in hand. Mishka darted backwards and raised his arms to cover his chest and head. Ada's blade slashed with blinding speed, cutting deep into Mishka's forearms. Mishka! Sasha held tight into a metal rung, unable to pull himself up any further, but unable to let himself drop either. The second attacker's fingers wrapped around Sasha's ankle and yanked him ruthlessly off the ladder. He hit the ground hard, a sharp pain shot through his leg on impact, and the air was knocked from his chest. The third figure charged towards him. Blow after blow rained down on him and thrashed his entire body. It was excruciating. Bitter metallic taste of blood filled his mouth and spilled from his lips.
I thought you were supposed to be a good actor.
What, am I supposed to be enjoying this?
Why are you reading everything like your lumpy space princess?
Something heavy hit Sasha on the back of the head. So hard his vision blurred. I'm confused and disgusted. That's what both those things together sound like lumpy space princess. Not even the adrenaline coursing through him could block out the intense pain. I never said I was a good actor, just that I was an actor.
Oh my god, I can tell.
I'm going to die.
That's enough.
What?
What?
Would you?
Nothing.
You know I can improv good. I just can't. You can't expect me to read and act at the same time.
Much better at dramatic reading than you are.
That's enough. We got what we came for. Distantly, he heard Mishka desperately screaming his name. A loud ringing echoed in his ears, and the world around him seemed to slow. This can't be happening. Sasha turned his head to the right, forcing his aching eyes open as best as they could, looking for Mishka. Mishka!
Sasha! Sasha!
The sight of two men dragging a fighting Mishka toward a car at the mouth of an alleyway was incomprehensible to Sasha. He fought to stay conscious. Sasha's entire body refused to move. He weakly tried to turn over, attempting to crawl after his friend. But nothing happened. His body wouldn't respond. The car door slammed shut. The sound was muffled and distant. Sasha whimpered, hopelessness sinking in as the vehicle pulled away and drove off. His finger twitched, scraping against pavement. He still couldn't move. All he could do was lay there, helpless. I can't hold on. Sasha's vision began to narrow, darkness closing in. What if I don't wake up? Mishka, I'm where he sent the distress call, but he's not here. A deep voice filled the alleyway. Okay, thank you. Someone was coming. No. There's someone else here. He's beaten up pretty bad. Tell Indigo to send a medic team. I'm bringing him in. The pain became distant, and Sasha's consciousness slipped away.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Sasha's consciousness slipped away.
Well then. I think we're going to be continuing this. I'm enjoying it. You're enjoying it. I know that you're enjoying it. So what's next? I don't know if I'm going to play this on Tuesday. Maybe my tabletop will get canceled and I do it on Monday. I'm definitely excited for it. That's a great place to stop, though. That's like, I don't know a better place to stop it. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but that shit right there, that's how you know. What? Yeah, in Act 1. Oh, no, not that. Okay, and let's go check out... Let's go for a completely different feel. Let's go to Kiri the Goblin. Exactly, it's a good cliffhanger. Well, check out this VTuber. And I'll probably post shit on this online. I'm going to try to get some of these to my TikTok tonight if I get my lunch set up early enough. Bye, love you. Yes, please, thank you.
She'll sing. Yeah. That's the thing I agreed to. That's gonna happen. I have the song picked out. That's all it brings to 200 subs.